Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were up about 0.35 to almost 0.5%. In fact, Nasdaq managed to close at a 12-year highest level. And in terms of economic data, the US trade deficit for the month of December came in at about $38.9 billion, which was 21% down YOY, and that was definitely a positive surprise. When we look at the European markets, they were also up about 1.25 to almost 1.75%. As the European Union have agreed for a framework for a long-term spending cut to the tune of about 960 billion euros. Most of the Asian markets are closed today because of the Chinese New Year, and some of them would remain closed for the whole week also. Talking about the flows, the FIs were net buyers in the cash market to the tune of about 1190 crore. The domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of about 709 crore, and in the index futures, the FIs were sellers to the tune of 309 crore. Back home, friends, our market continued to show a distinct weakness when the global markets are steady, and this is happening despite the fact that we had a continuous flow of money from the FIIs. Even though most of the OFS, including NTPC, are over, we are not seeing any kind of a respite in the market, which is quite concerning. And on that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues, data and strategies that we could have in the F&O market.
Good morning friends, let's have a view at derivatives. Friends, we've seen that the slide in the market continues, and due to which we have seen that the market has been trading as close to the mark of 5,900. Now, in spite of that, we have seen that the FIs were net buyer of around 900 crores in the futures and options segment. And yes, we have seen some short positions been building up in Nifty futures. And if we have a look at the PCR ratio is at 0.98, followed by an uptake of around 1 to 5% in the implied volatility. So all these things together has been clearly indicating that yes, we would see some uncertainty in the market. But yes, if we have a look at the option metrics, 5,900 put option stands with the highest number of shares in the open interest, whereas strike of 6,000, 6,100 and 200 continues to add a good amount of open interest on the call side. So all this thing together has been broadly indicating that yes, we may see market trading in a range, but it's been trading below our weekly VWAP of 6,000. So our bias for the market is negative, and on lower side our probable target would be 550, and on higher side the hurdle would be 6,000. But yes, from the intraday perspective, what we feel is that 5,000 on the Nifty would act as a good support. And if we talk about the stocks, HDFC is looking positive, so one can buy it with stop loss of 798 rupees 90 paisa. Divi's Lab is looking weak, so one can go short with stop loss of 105 and 45 paisa, and Voltas is looking weak, so one can go short with 97.05. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. Mahindra reported numbers on Friday. The results came out during market hours, and on the revenue front, the numbers were slightly below expectations. However, at the net profit level, the results were better, mainly because of the lower tax rate, and even in case of the realization per vehicle, it was at about 5,14,000 odd, which declined sequentially. So numbers were not too impressive for Mahindra. In case of PSU banks, the government has indicated that they are going to pump in about 20,000 crore by way of recapitalization of the PSU banks. This is essentially to meet their capital adequacy requirements and also the Basel III norms. This is definitely a bit of positive for the PSU banking space, which is really under pressure, and it will also allow the banks to raise capital through public offers as long as the government's stake is maintained at about 51%. MCX SX is going live from today. Remember, this is the third exchange which is going to be operational in India after BSE and NSE, and it's going to offer its services both across cash and future segment in the equity markets. And this could be positive for companies like MCX and also financial technologies, which have a stake in the company. JP Associates and ONDC are going to be reporting the numbers. JP Associates, we are looking at a net profit of about 143 crore, and in case of ONDC, we are looking at a net profit of about 5,328 crore. And the expectations are that the ONDC numbers are going to be muted because of the higher subsidy burden. The Petroleum Ministry has given a formal go-ahead to companies like Kane and Reliance to go ahead and carry on the production work in their allotted fields, which is positive for Kane India. One can go long there with a stop loss of 309 and a target of about 324 to about 330. Also, to put things in perspective, the crude oil price has shot up to about $119 per barrel, which is also good news for Kane India, so one can go long there. NHPC, some positive news as the Environment Ministry has approved the hydropower projects to the tune of about 2,500 megawatts for them. One can go long with a stop loss of 27.5 and a target of about 29 to about 29.50. IVRCL is close to selling out its 3 road projects to Tata Realty to do some kind of a debt restructuring, and on the back of that one can go long on IVRCL with a stop loss of 30.75 and a target of about 32.50 to about 33. Cipla has decided to put on hold the recently acquired MadPro on the valuation concerns, so this could be a bit of a negative for Cipla in the morning trade. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a nice trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.